Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Zorea. It has been a pleasure getting to know all of you in this class, and I'm looking forward to watching your videos. My topic is recreational reading in secondary schools. I am a school librarian for a 4K to 12th grade school district, and I'm also a 6th grade reading teacher for 46th grade students. So this idea of recreational reading and how to support students as they read materials of their choice is something that I'm thinking about every single day. So it was wonderful to go to the research and to find out what other professionals have said about this topic. I'm going to be talking about 3 different articles that I'm going to summarize, and all 3 of the articles approach this recreational reading topic from very diverse perspectives. So hopefully you're able to take away at least one thing from these articles to implement in your practice. The first article that I would like to discuss is Access to Books in the Home and Adolescent Engagement in Recreational Book Reading by Margaret Murga. What I really appreciated is summary about her article was just the importance of bringing students to the school library and how that can make an impact in our expectations of them as a reader. I'm also going to be discussing Using Parent Book Clubs to Build a School-Wide Reading Community by Kristen Deschlitz. And what I loved about her article was this very creative idea of using online email as a way of connecting parents, building enthusiasm for reading, and just establishing this reading community in a way that hadn't been done in her community before. And finally, I'm going to talk about young adult use of ebooks and analysis of public library services and resources by Robin Gray and Vivian Howard. Now, although this article was focusing on ebook use in public libraries, the research was very applicable to what we are doing in school libraries, since in Wisconsin, we all have access to the Wisconsin Schools Digital Library Consortium, which is an ebook service for all elementary, middle, and high school students. And so this article presented really insightful analysis of young adult use of ebooks and ways that we can promote our ebook services to attract those students to pursue ebooks as a convenient and customizable reading option. So getting right into it, my very first article, Access to Books in the Home and Adolescent Reading Engagement by Margaret Murga. She began her research with an observation that we provide students in primary grades regular trips to the library to check out books. And this results in just the shared expectation of we are all readers. Everyone's reading. We expect all of our students to read. However, she noticed that when students go into secondary classes, these regular trips to the library stop. And this is also at the same time when we're seeing recreational reading in those adolescent students declining. And so she came up with several solutions for this phenomena. And the very first one being that even though older students don't traditionally get regular checkout time, they should. And so she really was encouraging stakeholders to reach out to principals, teachers, librarians to find a way to get those students into the library regularly for checkout time. And this accomplishes several goals, one of them being that being able to be in the library allows students to check out books and bring those books home. The importance of having books in the home, she really focused on as a way of describing that children deserve literacy-rich environments. And if their home doesn't have a lot of books, then being able to come to the school library, check them out, and bring them home is one way to make their home a literacy-rich environment. And it also communicates a value for reading. If teachers and principals are taking time out of the school day to bring classes to the library to check out books, it communicates that we're expecting students to keep reading. One of the things that she found in her research was that primary students felt that, yes, there was an expectation for reading. Once they hit secondary school, they actually believed that they were no longer expected to read outside of the class. Her next strategy for promoting access to books for adolescents was to provide silent reading time in class. And one thing that she realized was that for primary grades, silent reading can sometimes be a challenge, but older students are busy and they actually really valued having time to read in school. And so setting aside time for silent reading also just promotes this idea that we value reading. We're seeing it as something that is worth spending our time on. I will say that Murga did not present any solutions for how to implement these goals if your school isn't already doing them, but I would argue that they are worthy goals to talk to your principal and teachers, different stakeholders about. Murga does provide really solid research to back both of these goals, and so if this is something that a school would like to pursue, she has the research to back up why it's going to be effective. My second article focuses on this issue very, very differently. Using Parent Book Clubs to Build a School-Wide Reading Community by Kristen Deschel. And what I loved about her article was that she started a parent book club, and it had the goal of providing easy access to great literature for parents. She also wanted it to open up dialogue between students, parents, and the school library about books. And she went about this incredibly creatively. She understood that families of secondary students are busy, and yet parents want to be part of their middle to high school child's life, especially their educational life. In elementary school, there are so many opportunities for parents to come into the classroom, to volunteer, to be active. In secondary school, those opportunities really go away, and yet parents want to be part of their child's education and reading life, and this book club made it possible for them to do so. So, the book club was run. It was conducted exclusively via email. She sent out an email to all parents and grandparents in the district in September, inviting them to the book club. When parents expressed interest, she responded by sending them a book club guidelines, which included a link to how to get to the school library catalog, logistics for how to reserve books. Books were then set on a hold shelf, and then the child or the parent would come to the library, mention, my mom has requested such and such a book. Librarian would pull it, check it out to the student on their library number, bring it home to the parent. Parent finishes the book. When they're done, they give it back to the student. Student returns it to librarian. Librarian checks it in. There was also a forum for writing book reviews, which a lot of parents surprisingly took advantage of. These emails also were a way to stay in contact with parents, and so they were sent out every few weeks, just as a reminder to keep reading. There was ideas and strategies for reading together as a family. There was a list of books that other parents had read and enjoyed, along with different book reviews. And then it culminated with a biannual get-together where parents were invited to come to the school library, meet each other in person, and discuss books. This was just such a creative idea, and it's one that I'm hoping to implement in our school in September. So I'm excited to see how it works in our community. My very last article is Young Adult Use of eBooks and Analysis of Public Library Services and Resources by Robin Gray and Vivian Howard. And as I said, this was an article reporting on research that was done in public libraries, and yet they had a very interesting finding in the research, which is very applicable to school libraries that have ebook resources. And namely, it's that we need to answer this question, what's in it for me, when we talk to teens and young adults about ebooks. In outreach, they really commented that librarians are best served when we spend our time focusing on features of ebooks, namely that they're convenient. Students can be downloading these on their phone or their Kindles or their iPads anywhere that they are. It's a private reading experience. So if students want to read about really sensitive topics, they can check out books on that without having to bring a book up to the circulation desk and look the librarian in the eye. And it provides immediate word definitions through dictionary functions and highlighting features. What this study found is that librarians aren't emphasizing these characteristics of ebooks. Instead, most of us are emphasizing specific titles in ebook collections and how to download books. And what they're finding is that's actually not answering what's in it for me for teens. Knowing what books are in the collection and how to download them doesn't sell teens on the idea of reading ebooks themselves. So the study found mostly teens prefer print books, but they believed that if librarians emphasized these features of ebooks more, that can shift. So, for example, our school subscribes to the Wisconsin Schools Digital Library Consortium. We have access to Overdrive and ebooks. I haven't seen that service being highly utilized by high schoolers. And I'm hoping to change my marketing. So when I speak to teens and teachers about it, I'm going to focus more on the features of ebooks, why students should read ebooks, and hopefully we're going to see a change in the usage of our ebook collections. These were the 3 sources of the articles that I had if you are interested in reading them more. And then finally, I just had a discussion question for everyone about this topic of reading in secondary schools. And I'm just, as a professional, really curious to know, what creative ideas have you tried, read about, or seen that help secondary students develop recreational reading habits? We all know how important those are. The more students read, the more confident they are as readers, the more experiences they have empathizing with different characters and situations that they might never experience in person, but they can build empathy and social inferences and understanding We all know that reading recreationally helps readers develop preferences for reading and helps them develop into the adults that are kind and caring and believing that they can make a difference in our world. I'm very interested to hear your thoughts and suggestions. I hope that something in my presentation struck you and it presented you with an inspiration of idea that you would like to try in your school library. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to watching your videos. Thank you.